Get ready with me to go and watch a peasant beheading. Standards that we're high-value knights of the realm.
No bad idea.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we performed a heist using leaves as parachutes. We got blown away and we stole a diamond. Oh my god, oh no! One diamond!
A Finnish isometric point-and-click adventure set in a post-apocalyptic world after a nuclear disaster. If this looks interesting to you, be my guest and go play it for yourself. It's not, a complete stinker. Spoilers ahead, I won't be going every single comma of the story, but I'll be commenting on it, so here we go. The game starts with our protagonist, Aino, driving down a road, listening to heavy metal. I love how this stereotype of Finnish people is that they love heavy metal. Like other places, it's like, oh, the people are very standoffish, the people are very friendly, the people are very honest. And then Finland is like, they like heavy metal? Anyways, here's the story. Our community sent a man called Toivo to find a locomotive run by nuclear energy a few days back. Since they haven't heard back from him, we're being sent to find him and this locomotive, if it exists, that is. That's a pretty interesting hook. Also, I have a confession to make. I've got a bit of a weakness for isometric games. When I was a child, I thought that this was like the way video games were supposed to look. And that fascination is still here a little bit. With that said, the locations in Rauniot are really samey. A lot of this game's problems lie with the fact that they're trying to be bleak because, nuclear disaster, blah blah blah. But it's a little too bleak. There are ways to make bleak wastelands look interesting and say more than just bleak, but this ain't it. Something that's also too bleak is the characters' voices. They're all dubbed in Finnish, which I do appreciate because I love listening to different languages and accents. But the deliveries are so flat.
Pitähän nää sun jutut paikkansa.
Mistä sä puhut?
Miehestä.
Ja minä tahtoisin vain löytää jotain.
Mitä meinaat?
Rauhan, rakkauden ja tavaa elämää.
Sodassa. Onnea sen kanssa.
En tiedä. Se tuli huoltoaseman pihaan, enkä mä olen nähnyt sitä sen jälkeen. Ehkä mä olin pettynyt, kun se olikin mies eikä nainen.
Now, during my review of Hobbs Barrow, I did say that what bothered me in that game was the overly theatrical deliveries, so I'm not gonna stand here complaining about non-theatrical performances. At first I appreciated the flatness, like damn, there's nothing here warranting a voice full of emotion. But then it keeps going and going. Even in conversations where a joke wouldn't have been out of place, or where emotion was to be expected, no, it's all the same. Like, listen to how Aino sounds when she's just been locked in a room, is gonna be left to die, and her former lover is telling her a bunch of really terrible stuff.
Ja sä sanoit niille, että se on totta. Miksi sä jätit reittimerkit? Sulla ei oo ees sitä penskaa mukana. Ne kertonut sulle. Et sä pääse sinne ilman sitä lasta. Ne heittää sut takaisin mereen. Toivo, anna mun mennä. Mä annan sun mennä.
There's not even an edge of distress in her voice. This is frankly just ridiculous. Actually, I think that the line that's spoken with the most emotion in the entire game, I kid you not, is about chickens.
Olkoon, mutta jos se tekee kannoille jotakin, niin...
Anyways, moving on from that, the puzzles. Something I actually liked is that objects of interest really seem like they fit, to the point that they're camouflaged in the background. You know how in like 99% of point-and-click games, items you can pick up or interact with look just a little bit different. Yeah, none of that here. There are a lot of puzzles with codes and flipping buttons. I've seen some people say it got kinda repetitive, but I didn't think so. Maybe because I never had any idea what I was doing. Yeah, I was here looking for the nuclear locomotive and Toivo. But it gets to the point where you're taking a generator from here to here and trying to find dog food to trade for the generator parts that need fixing, and wait, why are we doing this again? It's the good old favor exchange of point-and-click games, but it gets so deep, and Aino doesn't really comment on the puzzles. At all, really. So you're there like, damn, can't I hold these people at gunpoint to find out where Toivo is and just get this over with? But you know, other than the game being a little too hands-off, I like the puzzles. Maybe I would have liked them more if Aino said something like, "This button moves the crane," after I pressed it for the 15th time. Oh, a little touch I really appreciated are extra animations. For example, Aino has to push the generator off the train here so she can lower it to the floor with the crane. In like every other title ever, the screen would have faded to black, then maybe a sound effect, then fade back in with the crane off the train, right? But here they actually animated Aino climbing on the train and pushing it off, even though this is the only time this animation is used. Something that I've seen people complain about is how long it takes to use the computers here. But I actually like that aspect, like we're actually messing with computers from the 70s. It's one of the only things that add to the atmosphere and immersion, along with the menu. Oh, speaking of the menu, you can save the game in this computer here, and the inventory is nothing special. But the map and objectives are really cool. It's presented as Aino sketches, and there are the characters we meet and the places we visit. I really like it. Also, depending on certain actions you can take, you get special effects in your sketchbook. It's really nice. Well, but let's move on to the real stinker here. The story. If the story were good, I'd be able to ignore everything else, even the flatlining deliveries. But alas, it's a mess. Again, I think it's too married to its concept of bleakness, so there's really no point or way to anything. And sometimes, no explanation either. I mean, take a look at this scene. No, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. And I actually played the game. Also, apparently the cannibals took one of Toivo's legs. What cannibals? Glad you asked. I have no idea. Toivo doesn't point anyone out, and we don't meet any cannibals. I mean, the game already had a reason for him going MIA. You didn't need the leg thing, but, okay. And how to forget that one time he took expired heroin and was high as a kite, and then like 30 seconds later was straight as an arrow again? Anything for the plot. And then after he gets killed by a chainsaw to the balls because he's stupid enough to attack a guy with a chainsaw going, 6 months pass, and Aino is still in the same place, having a conversation that would not have waited 6 months to happen. Feels like the devs just wanted to show their skills with snow. But even without much thought, while writing the script, I can think of a dozen better ways to show your snow skills. The end just feels bizarre and discombobulated. And bleak. Let's not forget the bleakness. It's like the devs forgot that people in terrible situations aren't consumed by the bleakness. They actively try to fight it. And if they didn't try to fight it, it would be just completely unsurvivable, you know, you wouldn't have hope, so what's the point of eating dog food to survive? I also wish Aino would have spoken more. The only times we find out more about her are when she has this weird dream with one dialogue option with this guy and then in the end with Toivo. The other 4.5 hours are just her talking about what she's seeing around her, with no personal anecdotes or hints to her past to speak of. So I think this is it. I think what was missing here was a competent writer, please don't hate me devs, and maybe a better art director, because like that straw color just everywhere was not it. Something funny that I noticed when going through the discussions on Steam is that this game has attracted some weird people. Like, for example, there was this guy asking if Aino's appearance was customizable because he's not into heavily tatted chicks. Please, let's all just take a moment to reflect. Is there a single point-and-click adventure main character, or character in general, we would go on a date with? I can't think of exactly one, and that's it, and that's never been an issue for me, but to each their own. I also saw a guy complaining that the protagonist is a woman. Why is it a woman? The feminists have proven their point. Stop making games about women. I honestly felt like that Mike was asking me, but I was silly. You're complaining about such a non-issue that's actually... wow. Like, dude, the devs made a game. It's their game. They worked on it. They wanted to make a game about Aino. If you want a game about a man, go make your game. It was so bizarre, and I had never even thought about that myself, that I went through my Steam library listing the protagonist's genders. I mean, maybe this guy is onto something, right? I got games where there isn't a main character, or it's up to the player, multiple protagonists, etc. 90. Male main characters, 117. Female main characters, 105. So yeah, it's pretty even. At least in my library. I don't know how things are out there in this guy's world. But anyways, that's all I had to say. Rauniot is really not worth it in my opinion, unfortunately. But there is a lot of potential with these devs, and I would love to see what they come up with next. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, blah 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 blah. And I'll make more videos if an anvil doesn't fall on my head. Bye!